folks, it's Friday, May 29th. I'm Colby from Mitten Fitness. Welcome, welcome. Today you will need one heavy object, a bench for bench presses, a variation of a bench press, and a timer of some sort. There are timer apps in our description below, recommended timer apps. Download one today. All right, let's get to a warm-up. For today's warm-up, we've got some new movements, so bear with me. We're doing 3 rounds of these, and each of these we're doing 3 reps of. So first we've got upward to downward facing dog with some toe touches. That's going to look like this. I would go ahead and start in your upward dog with your arms straight, and then push up into that downward dog. With the downward dog, you're trying to get the heels flush to the ground, hip and butt high, arms are straight as well. And then from there, you're going to do some 2 toe touches, touching the opposite foot. So right hand, left foot, left hand, left foot, back down into upward facing dog, back to downward dog. 1, 2. So each of those from upward to downward to 2 toe touches is 1 rep. 3 times. 3 of those. The second movement is a little more complicated, a shin box. I'll admit right now it's gonna depend on your level of flexibility in the hips. But basically start in this position. You bring the inside of your right knee to the ground, fold over as much as you can, within reason, back up, left inside knee to the ground, and fold. Terrible on my left side. And back to the right, fold, back to the left, fold.
You're doing a great job.
Good luck with those. Okay. Really wakes up those hips. 3 of those. Right knee, left knee is 1 rep. Then you're going to do 3 single leg RDL hand switches. That's where the heavy object comes into play. Hopefully not too heavy. But you're going to get in that single leg Romanian deadlift position and just hand that back and forth, trying to keep balance 3 times. And then switch legs. Again, keeping that balance. So 3 times back and forth to each hand and on each leg. Then go back to the top until you've done 3 rounds of all 3 movements. At the very end, you're going to do 30 jumping jacks. At the very end, you're going to do 30 jumping jacks. Jumping jacks look like this. 30 of those. After that, you're going to do 20 up, downs, or squat thrusts. Those look like this. Arms straight and down, plank out, hop back in, and up. 10 of those. Jumping jacks look like this. 30 of those. All right, so that's 3 rounds total of 3 reps of upward to downward facing dog with toe touches, 3 shin boxes and forward folds, basically right knee to the ground, left knee to the ground, right knee to the ground, left knee to the ground, right knee to the left to the ground. And then the single leg Romanian deadlift hand switches, 3 reps each leg. And then once you've done 3 rounds of all of that, 30 jumping jacks, and you're warmed up, and then you're finding me back here for strength. Thanks so much. All right. Hopefully you're good and warmed up. Today's strength has 2 different supersets, 30 seconds between every movement. The first superset has plank curls, 4 sets of 8 to 10 each. Combined with, you'll rest 30 seconds and then go into contralateral glute bridge bench presses. You'll do 4 sets of 10 to 12 each arm on those. Rest 30 seconds, go back up to those plank curls and go through both of those movements until you've done 4 sets each. On that 4th set of contralateral glute bridge bench presses, rest that 30 seconds and then go into your second superset of weighted hollow holds. You're going to hold for 30 seconds with a weight on those hollow holds, and then rest for 30 seconds and then go into single arm dumbbell skull crushers. 4 sets of 8 to 12 each arm on those. Rest for 30 seconds, back up to the hollow holds, weighted hollow holds, and so forth until you've done 4 sets of both of those movements. Alright, so let's show you what those movements are. Plank curls are exactly like they sound. You're going to get in that planked position and then you're going to curl. Alright, you're doing 8 to 10 reps each arm, then you'll rest for 30 seconds. We're trying to keep those hips from twisting. They're nice and stacked, straight. You're in that solid plank for the entire set of repetitions on those. Rest for 30 seconds and then you'll go into a contralateral glute bridge bench press. You're going to need a bench for that. Bench chair, yeah, bench or Ottoman would work. Chair might not work so well. For these, they are contralateral. So you're going to place your shoulder blades on the bench, making that glute bridge. Being contralateral, you're lifting up the leg opposite the arm that's working, okay? In this instance, my right arm is about to work, so my left leg is up and free, single leg glute bridge style, and then I'm doing my press. Okay, holding that glute bridge the whole time, single leg glute bridge, while you're pressing. That's 10 to 12 reps each side on those. All right, rest for 30 seconds, go back to those plank curls, and then roll through both of those movements until you've done each 4 times. All right, after that last set of contralateral glute bridge bench presses, you're going to go into a weighted hollow hold. You're doing 30-second holds for these, so choose your weight wisely. Just grab that weight in both hands. With the hollow hold, do the leg raise. Arms out into a bowl, making sure that just your tailbone to your mid-back is touching the ground while you hold that hollow hold. Core is engaged and holding for 30 seconds. Again, choose your weight wisely. All right, 30 seconds of that weighted hollow hold. You'll rest for 30 seconds and then you'll do single arm dumbbell skull crushers. Those are on the ground, so you can stay on the ground for these. 8 to 12 reps of skull crushers each arm. Just be nice and comfortable here on the ground. Roll that dumbbell head back and bring the tricep up. Try to keep this elbow, humerus part of your arm kind of in line and pressing up to isolate that tricep. Let the dumbbell curl down flat and then come back up. Okay? Should come right down by the ear, rest level, and then come back up. Alright, again, it's 8 to 12 each arm on those. Rest 30 seconds, go back up to hollow holds, and through those 2 movements until you've done them each 4 times. Alright, it's time to press pause and have fun with this. I'll see you right back here for a cool down. For conditioning today, we have a new setup. Movements we should be familiar with, but definitely a new setup. It's going to be an EMOM, but it's every 2 minutes on the minute for 20 minutes. It's going to be a kettlebell dumbbell complex of 8 single arm thrusters. That's 8 total, so 4 each side. And then 12 Russian kettlebell swings, 16 single arm dumbbell rows. That one is each side, so 16 each arm. Then 20 goblet squats. Now the idea is you have 2 minutes to do this complex. Should be plenty of time, and then you'll have 2 minutes of rest. So minute 0, you start, you do the complex. Hopefully you're done by 2 minutes, the 2 minute mark. You'll rest on minute 2. All right, and then at minute 4, you start with the complex again. Okay, so you're gonna be doing this complex 5 total times on minutes 0, 4, 8, 12, and 16. You will be resting for 2 full minutes, ideally, for minutes 2, 6, 10, 14, and 18. Now, if it takes you a little bit longer than 2 minutes, keep pushing through. Finish that. You might only get a minute and a half worth of rest. If you're finding that it's going well past that 2 minute mark, you may just want to stop at 2. You could pick up where you left off the next round, whatever works for you. Or you can just power through and tack the rest on at the end. Make it your workout. If you want to get all the movements in, take all the time you want. All right, so let's go over some of these movements. Single arm thrusters. With the dumbbell, safely pick up that dumbbell, get it into the racked position, find your squat stance, keep this free arm out for balance, down to the squat, thrust it up. All right, try to get parallel or below on that squat, and then time the press of this dumbbell once your hips and knees are fully extended. It'll make that dumbbell a little bit lighter. All right, so 8 of those, 4 each side. Total single arm thrusters. After that, you have 12 Russian kettlebell swings. Set that kettlebell down right between your feet. You're pretty much squattish, squat stance, or maybe a little bit inside that squat stance for these. Bend down, grab it, hike it back, bring it up to eye level. Eye level is Russians. And remember, we're using the hips to fire this kettlebell up, okay? Slight bend in the knees, fire the hips. It's not a big squat. Our backs aren't rounding down here. Nice stable midline. Use those hips. You should be staring at that kettlebell once it gets to the top for a Russian swing. All right, 12 of those. Then we have 16 single arm dumbbell rows each side. Grab your object, slight bend in the knee, hinge the back, midline's nice and stable. Let that dumbbell hang out in front, keeping that midline stable, and row. Or start that lawnmower. However you want to look at it. Just do 16 reps each arm. All right. After those, goblet squats. If you have that kettlebell, use it. Find that squat stance. Put that kettlebell in the goblet position. Can honestly be like this, 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 whatever's comfortable. Just keeping those elbows in, object on your chest, like a goblet. All right, squat stance, and butt goes back first, down and up. Almost fell over. We're doing that again. Butt first, down, parallel or below, back up. Keeping that midline stable the whole time. Elbows nice and tight. Goblet squats, you got 20 of those. Don't forget, every 2 minutes on the minute. 2 minutes of work, 2 minutes of rest. Press pause, have fun with this one. I think it's a cool setup. You should enjoy it. And we'll see you back here for cool down. All right, welcome back for a very necessary cool down. You always have the option to do the shutdown challenge before you do this cool down. It's in the description below. Today's cool down involves the lizard pose. You're going to do 30 seconds each side on that one. You can do that dynamic or static. And then the world's greatest stretch. With the world's greatest stretch, we're going to rest 30 seconds in each pose. I'm going to show you that now. So start with the world's greatest stretch. Get in that plank position. Then bring your right foot on the outside of that right hand. You're going to leave that left hand planted. You're going to lift that right hand up and try to bring that right elbow to the ground. That is a very strong word, try. Not everybody should be able to, so don't worry about it if you can't, but the point is you're stretching this area right here. Your hamstring, your groin area is opening up. So we're going to hold this position for about 30 seconds. So from this position, you're going to go into a pigeon pose. So you can leave that left arm planked and just bring that leg under. Right leg under. Lower yourself onto your elbows if you can. If you can bring your head down, great. But you're going to hang into this pigeon pose for 30 seconds. You can kind of rock back and forth. Take deep breaths. Try to stretch lower each time. But hold that position for about 30 seconds. After the pigeon, come on up into a straight leg. Hamstring stretch. Bring that toe up. If you can reach that toe, pull it toward you. And you're stretching this, holding this position for about 30 seconds. If you want to do a more dynamic release and stretch for that 30 seconds, you can. And then lastly, keeping that foot forward, you're going to work into a hip flexor stretch. Bring those hands overhead, push them toward the ceiling and lower, feeling that stretch in the hip flexor. I'll switch sides for you just so you can see. Again, hands toward the ceiling, lower the leg, arch the back, feeling that stretch here. And hold for about 30 seconds for that pose. And then do the opposite side. Again, holding 30 seconds for each of those poses of the world's greatest stretch. All right, for that lizard pose, you're gonna get down on the ground. You're gonna have your right leg is forward, left hand on the ground. You're gonna grab that left foot with your right hand. And then you're gonna kind of ease forward, stretching that hip flexor area and that quad attachment, and just kind of leaning forward into that. Now you can gradually hold and breathe, and every time you exhale, try to stretch a little further for 30 solid seconds. Or you, again, can go dynamic with that and release the tension, go back in. Trying to get a deeper stretch, though, each time on that hip flexor front area. I'll do it with the opposite leg. You might get a better view. So again, grabbing your right foot with your left hand, and just bringing that left foot forward so that you can kind of lean in and stretch that hip flexor area. Really good quad stretch here too. And if you can, bring that chest up high And again, you can either do that static, trying to stretch a little deeper each breath, or releasing and dynamically going deeper. So that is the lizard pose. That's your cool down for today. I'll see you again tomorrow. Thanks for joining Mitten Fitness, CrossFit Dexter, for these quarantine, stay home, get ripped workouts. Hey folks, really appreciate you tuning in. Please do us a favor, press that like button, subscribe, find us on Facebook, find us on Instagram, like us, follow us. Stay healthy.